Hare Krishna, welcome to all the devotees in today's session of the Secrets of Bhagavad-Gita. Today we are going to discuss Bhagavad-Gita chapter 2, text number 30, 36 and 37. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kadamahyam Dadadi Swapadantikam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Just a minute, I will just put everyone on mute so devotees can ask the question at the end. Let us start. Bhagavad Gita chapter 2, text number 36. Avachavadamscha bahun vadishyanti tavahitaha nindantastav samarthyam tato dukkhataram nukim. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Your enemies will describe you in many unkind words and scorn your ability. What could be more painful for you? Purport. Lord Krishna was astonished in the beginning at Arjun's uncalled for plea for compassion, and he described his compassion as befitting the non-Aryans. Now, in so many words, he has proved his statements against Arjun's so-called compassion. Just to recap, Lord Shri Krishna is putting so many arguments to convince Arjuna that even if he thinks that he should not fight because he does not want to get involved in killing his gurus or killing his superiors, still, as a duty of a Kshatriya, he cannot simply avoid it. Because Kshatriya Dharma is considered uh, cruel or harsh, because uh, a Kshatriya or particularly a king has to take many uh, difficult or very tough decisions. So, uh, just because he has to make some judgment and it may go against his own self-interest, uh, as the saying goes, conflict of interest. So, even in such situations, uh, he has to carry out his duty. He cannot avoid it. So Arjun's argument so far were more or less in this line, that he wanted to highlight sin, he wanted to highlight uh, uh, the outcome of the war, that the women will imitate us, thinking that now we can also give up dharma and we can also uh, do adultery. So these were Arjun's argument. However, in any war, these things are unavoidable. There is no doubt that the war at Mahabharata is not an ordinary war. It's a huge war. Almost whole of whole of the world has come to fight. So it's a very special situation. However, considering the duty of a kshatriya, we cannot simply show compassion to those who have committed sins or who have committed crime. We have to take decision. We have to punish uh, the miscreants or those or the followers of adharma. So here, Duryodhana and his supporters were promoting irreligion or adharma, and as a kshatriya, Arjuna is supposed to punish them. So no matter they are his relatives and teachers or whatever. So that is simply unacceptable, and there shouldn't be any doubt in this duty. And particularly in this verse, Lord Shri Krishna uh, emphasis that if he does that, if he avoids this war just to uh, get some peace of mind, that I don't want to kill my gurus just to get some kingdom. Of course, uh, getting the kingdom is not the only cause for this war. It was a religious war, Dharma Yuddha. But still, Arjuna could relate this war only with receiving some kingdom. Though, arguably, Arjuna and other Pandavas could have obtained kingdom in many other ways. They could have challenged some other Kshatriyas and conquered them. And in this way, they could have uh, won many kingdoms. So there was absolutely no need for them to fight with their relatives. However, the situation is that uh, if Duryodhana and his supporters, though they are relatives, if they are at the side of adharma, then as a kshatriya, it is of no consideration that why would Arjuna not punish them just because they are our relatives, just because they are our teachers. That does not give a license to any kshatriya to not perform his duty. There are many instances in the history. I can remember one. Uh, a king had declared that anyone who kills cow in his kingdom would be personally executed by the king. He would behead that person. So that was the order passed by the king. And it so happens that by uh, chance of providence, his own son, the prince, committed that crime unknowingly, knowingly or unknowingly, whatever the case may be. And it was a now dilemma that now what should be done. A king has taken a vow to punish anyone who kills a cow, even unknowingly. Now that prince who is going to be the next king, but king has to take a very harsh decision. So he uh, literally beheaded his own son just to keep the law and order in his kingdom. So Arjun must have heard all these stories. He must be knowing the cruel duties of Kshatriya, Rajadharma. So, considering all this, his so-called compassion for his relatives indicates that he is attached to them, or his so-called feeling of compassion is not in line with dharma. So the ultimate criteria is dharma, not our some emotions. There are always emotions. Whenever we punish some criminal, does that mean his relatives will not get pain? Obviously, crime has been done by that criminal, but as a consequences, his relatives would be punished. How? Because if criminal is hanged or if he is beheaded, then his relatives, his wife, children, etc., they will feel the loss of his presence, and it's natural for them to uh, get discomfort by all these situations. But that does not mean that a kshatriya or a king would forgive the criminal just because his relatives are going to feel some pain. So, ultimate criteria for deciding any action in our life is dharma. And dharma, what is dharma? Dharma means laws or order of God. Lord Krishna has already given us the directions. as to how to rule society. Uh, and here, in particular, this particular verse, Lord Krishna warns Arjuna that if he still avoids this war, then be prepared to hear all kinds of bad words, ill words, such as cleaver. Krishna Chakravarti Thakur says, Avachavadan, Avachavadan, cleaver ityadi katuktihi. Cleaver means important. Those who cannot, they do not get married because they cannot create any progeny. So, powerless basically. So, Arjuna uh, should be ready to receive all these words from his enemies. Is he ready for that? And we see in the very beginning of the conversation, Lord Shri Krishna personally chastised Arjuna with this word, klaivyam, that don't behave like a eunuch or a powerless person. And if Lord Krishna is chastising like this, what to speak of other enemies? So they will speak all kinds of ill words. So Arjuna, being a very reputed person, should be worried about all these things. And for a Kshatriya, Kirti Yasya Jivati, those who have attained fame, it's their life. So they should be protecting their fame at any cost. And their fame is connected to their whole royal lineage. So uh, getting defaming also means the whole dynasty, Kuru dynasty, will be defamed for this unwarranted action. And that's why Lord Krishna advises Arjuna in many ways to give up this weakness of heart, the so called compassion for his relatives. It's not that compassion is a bad thing, but the ultimate criteria is dharma. There is no any dharma or any duty in the world that does not involve such difficulties. There are always challenges in following literally every dharma. Every dharma. For example, a mother or a woman has to cook uh, even in summer. She can't say that no, because now there is summer, so let's have holidays and I won't be cooking during summer because it's so hot. No, she has to. She has to cook for the family. She has to take care of the babies. So, like that, sir, in each dharma, there are challenges. And Arjuna should recognize this that Kshatriya, no doubt, their dharma is a little harsh and it's very it's very tough duty, we can say. But they are born in Kshatriya families and they have to act as Kshatriyas. They have got training into Kshatra Dharma. So they must execute their duties. So this is also applicable in our daily life that we should not give topmost priority to our emotions. So emotions are respectable and we we should be filled with emotions toward anyone. In fact, punishing the criminal is also considered a compassion on that person. In Dharma Shastra, it's been mentioned that when a king punishes criminal, he actually shows favor to him because by punishing him in this life, he will not have to uh, get the severe punishment in hell or in other in his next life. So another thing that when there is a uh, element of punishment in the society, then only laws and orders will be maintained, not otherwise. It's a myth or a dream that we can just have laws and order or peace and prosperity just by having very speaking lovely words. That simply does not work. We are in the material world. We are not living in Vaikuntha. So something to recognize for everyone that as we are living in material world where everyone wants to dominate over others, so uh, the law of punishment or law of discipline is absolutely necessary. So it is painful to execute such orders or execute such administrative roles, but it is unavoidable. Okay. Next verse. हतो वा प्राप्स्यसि स्वर्गं जित्वा वा भोक्ष्यसे महीम् तस्मादुत्तिष्ठ कौन्तेय युद्धाय कृतनिश्चयः. Translation. O son of Kunti, either you will be killed on the battlefield and attain the heavenly planets, or you will conquer and enjoy the earthly kingdom. Therefore, get up with determination and fight. For what? Even though there was no certainty of victory for Arjun's side, he still had to fight. For even being killed there, he could be elevated into the heavenly planets. So now one may wonder why Lord Krishna uh, puts this argument before Arjuna, who is not at all interested in any sort of kingdom. Kim no rajena govinda kim bhoge jivitena va. So Arjuna has already announced that he is not interested in any kingdom. He prefers to live by begging than receiving a kingdom by killing his superiors. So that is the decision of Arjuna in the beginning. So why would Lord Shri Krishna put this argument to convince Arjuna that he should rethink over his decision? He should fight. So the reason is that hato va praptisi swargam jitva va bhokshase mahim. It indirectly indicates his kshatra dharma. So kshatriya, um, they get liberation or they attain higher planets by the virtue of performing their own duty, their own kshatra dharma. So their duty is not similar to brahmanas or vaishyas or shudras. And simply by performing their duty, uh, they receive the ultimate goal of life. Uh, we can say Phalachauryam. Phalachauryam is not there for any varna. If a Brahmana performs his own duty honestly, then he would be liberated or he would get elevated to higher planets. Similarly, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras. So, particularly Shudras, they should not be thinking that now I must get elevated to the post of Vaishya or Brahmanas or Kshatriyas. Then only I will get the perfection of life. So, this point has been refuted in Dharma Shastra. So there is no phalachoryam. Phalachoryam means it's not that you will not get the result. If somebody is acting as a Shudra in a society, just by his duty as a Shudra, assisting the upper three classes, he will get uh, elevation into his consciousness. He will be elevate, and by the elevation of the consciousness, he will be promoted to higher planet systems, or he will attain Vaikuntha simply by executing his own duty. Of course, there has to be bhakti. Without bhakti, we cannot achieve anything. That's why we say that even in demigod worship or devta puja, there are always elements of Vishnu bhakti. We see that for every marriage and there has to be Shaligram puja, and people would go to different temples. They will get blessings. So and even for on daily rituals. Nowadays, people are forgetting, but traditionally on daily rituals, they have to perform, particularly dvijas or twice born people of the society. They have to perform Agnihotra and they have to worship Lord Vishnu. So uh, there has to be bhakti element uh, to get elevated anywhere. But uh, the core structure of the practice of bhakti is dharma, and it is similarly applicable to all our devotees of Krishna consciousness or ISKCON movement. So uh, we all have to follow or practice bhakti within the framework of dharma. We cannot give up dharma just to practice Krishna consciousness. If we do that, then we are also uh, acting like Arjuna in a bewildered state. So, in a bewildered situation, usually we lose our discrimination and we tend to uh, gravitate towards those things which we like the most. So, Arjuna is a very kind person, he's a sadhu by nature. So, he is gravitating towards compassion and all these things. But with us, we may get gravitate towards any nonsense things, any sinful things also in the name of compassion. So that is why uh, dharma is the overall framework to act within the society, and within that dharma or along with that dharma, we have to uh, practice our Krishna consciousness or bhakti. We can take an analogy that a diamond is very precious thing. I mean, in terms of value. Uh, but to wear that diamond, we need a ring. We cannot just simply hold diamond in our hand and just roam around. So similarly, bhakti is the essence of all dharmas. But to perform that bhakti, we need the structure of dharma or varna ashram dharma. Varna means four varnas, ashram means four ashramas. Within the frame of this ring of varnashram dharma, we can perform bhakti. So that is the overall structure for all devotees. When we say that we have to give up dharma, sarva dharman paritijya, that never means that we have to give up dharma altogether. Otherwise, uh, even after the war of Mahabharata, Arjun still acted as Kshatriya. It's not that he just performed his duty to fight for the pleasure of Krishna in Mahabharata war, and after that he took Vanaprastha. No, he still acted as Kshatriya. So the conclusion is that Arjuna's arguments, though some of them were in line with Dharma, seeing the broader picture or hierarchy of other dharmas, it was inferior. And that's why Lord Krishna uh, wanted Arjuna to give all these inferior dharmas with respect to the superior dharma of his own duty. And the highest dharma was to follow Krishna's order. So, considering the higher dharmas, Arjuna must give up his these inferior dharmas and execute his duty as a kshatriya. That was the understanding. So here, Lord Krishna particularly uh, emphasize the kshatriya dharma, that for kshatriyas even they die in the on the battlefield, they will be elevated, and even if they win, then they will rule the kingdom. So in any case, there is no loss for a kshatriya. So Arjuna should also think in these terms. So that is the abhipraya or intention of this particular verse. It's not that Arjuna would get motivated by this. some heavenly reward. No, but he was a Kshatriya, and for all Kshatriyas, this is a destination. So, fighting for a religious cause or for Dharma Yuddha, it's their duty, and they should just execute it. So, even if it is little uncomfortable, still they will not be bereft of their ultimate goal of life. So, that is the point. Okay, I will stop here. If there is any question, we can take one, and if there are no questions, then we can stop here. We like the pro. Okay, since there are no questions, okay, we'll stop here. वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. श्रीमद् भगवद गीता यज्ञ की जय. श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. हरे कृष्ण. Thank you all for joining the class. Hare Krishna.